Okay, great. So thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to start the meeting with an overview of a new section that we've added to our town website. Under the businesses section, we have a new link which is available on the home screen, as well as linked on the side under news and announcements. But we basically have here updated, this is updated ongoing through information we're receiving from the governor's office in terms of how to access benefits, small business administration, et cetera, for assistance during this time of impact. So we just wanted to point that out to everyone on the call that that is available. We also created a new news alert for businesses to sign up. So if you go to our home screen under subscribe to news and alerts, there's actually a section where you can select updates for town business news. So if you're not already signed up, if you can go on and select town business news, you will get updates from that town business page moving forward.
That's nice.
There is a chat option here, so if you have questions, if you could enter that into the chat field, and we'll make sure we get those questions under the final Q&A portion, or there'll also be an opportunity, I think, to speak those questions as well. If everyone doesn't mind just putting their audio on mute if you're not speaking during the presentation, just to eliminate any disturbance of background noise. And I will now turn it over to Mayor Mahoney.
Very well. Well, first I want to thank everybody for calling in. I want to thank the county and town staff who are not only on the call, but who are working behind the scenes to get a lot of this information out there. I want to thank the 2 elected officials, if not more, who are on the call. I believe we have 2 Chesapeake Beach Town Council on the call. But mainly, I want to thank the business people that are on the call, and all our local business people in general. We understand that you're going through a loss of revenue, as well as possibly having to send your employees to the unemployment line. It's unprecedented for many people. I think one thing that's important is a lot of citizens don't understand what loss of revenue stream is, probably because they've just always had a job or they have a pension. So we really don't understand who all of a sudden, one Friday, tabulate your income that week and it comes out, negative something. So we're here to try to help, and the agenda is full of information that will hopefully help you as well. So I really want to thank you all for hanging in there, and this thanks really comes from the bottom of my heart. So thank you. That's all I got.
Larry, did you want to say a few words as well?
Yes, please. Thank you. And I just wanted to share some of the mayor's sentiments, and wanted to make sure everyone that's on the call knows that our mayor, town staff, and the town council are committed to doing everything we can to support our local businesses during this crisis. If there's anything that can be done to help, please let us know. We know these are very confusing times. We're getting different messages in terms of various funding programs, what you can do, what you can't do. It's a very confusing time. So hopefully some of the information that we're going to share today will help clarify some of that. Thank you very much. Hang in there. Thanks.
Okay, Danita, are you ready to get started?
Sure. I'm just going to take a second. And thank you very much to the town for putting this on. We're trying to find new ways to reach our businesses, and this is certainly a unique way. The information is changing daily, if not hourly, and our only hope here today is that we can impart some new information to you. I'll give a plug for our website as well, ecalvert.com. If you click on there and click on the virus image, it'll take you to a special page we have for resources. We've also created a page called Business Tools for Tough Times. We're going to get through this, and you're going to need to be a little bit creative to get through it. So we're trying to find some of the best practices out there and give that to our business community. I do think Chesapeake Beach has done an awesome job keeping in touch with their businesses and their citizens, and I commend you on that. Let me just take a quick second and introduce who's on this call today. So we have Kathy McAdams. It's like Brady Bunch. She's down on my left corner there. She is our business retention specialist. And then we also have Hillary Daly. She's under me. She's our tourism specialist. And then we have Lisa Creason, who is with the Small Business Development Center. She is our local, based in Prince Frederick, our local consultant. And then we also have Bill Hitty from the Small Business Development Center. He's been with the SBDC for many, many years and is a former banker. So he is an excellent resource for us on all things money. So with that, I will turn it over to, I guess, Kathy. Do you want to kick it off a little bit?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so I think we've been fielding a lot of calls because there's a lot of uncertainty. So I just want to echo what Danita said, and it's no longer providing business assistance by going out and visiting businesses. It's really doing it through webinars, phone calls, emails to provide assistance. But just to let everyone on the call know that there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of need for assistance. So we are here along with the SPDC to help you. We get all kinds of questions, so don't think that your question is not applicable to the times. I wanted to also say, Danita talked about our Calvert website, but we also have a portion of the website that is dedicated to the restaurants. So if your information, or if you know a restaurant that is open and offering carry out, delivery, and they're not there, please let us know. Because we look at our statistics from our website, and that is one of the biggest visits to our website has been to see what restaurants are available. So, and then I guess after Bill introduces himself and Lisa will field questions about concerns that you have. I know the PPP open today, back up, there's funding back in, banks are taking new applications. And I've also heard from many of the businesses that tried to apply for unemployment on Friday that it was a major disaster. So, but I did have a couple businesses this morning that said that they were successful in trying to do that. So hopefully your frustrations have been overcome and you have been able to apply as well. So thanks.
Thanks, Kathy. This is Bill Hitty, business consultant with the SBDC, been there for 20 years. Lisa and I are actually College of Southern Maryland employees. So we are operating remotely with all the campuses being closed. Just a couple of things for those of you that are on the phone. I know we'll get to the Q&A, which I think is the most important part of all these discussions, but please just try to be very clear about what it is you applied for. It's going to be helpful for us to be able to answer the questions. You had Maryland loans and Maryland grants, and then you have SBA, EIDL, and then you also have the PPP program. We're not experts at the unemployment side, but we'll be able to give you a little bit of insight on that if one of those questions happens to come up. So enough from my end. I'll turn it over to Lisa to introduce herself, and then hopefully we can move into Q&A pretty quickly.
Thanks, Bill. So I'm Lisa Creason, and as Kathy said, I am situated in the Calvert County Economic Development offices, and I've been with the SBDC for 4 years, going on 5 now. I have been working more with smaller businesses, more of the self-employed sole proprietors than perhaps Bill has. So I have dug into the unemployment a little bit. So if you are in there and you're confused about verifications, I found a spot on their website to help you understand what they're asking for. And Bill will talk more about this probably, but what I discovered already this morning is that some of the banks are still not opening back up for the PPPL. But I think Bill has some suggestions maybe where you could, if you haven't already applied for those funds. So that's all I got.
I wanted to add to that. part of the reason why I think that we're not seeing banks opening up is because they still have applications from the last go around that they're processing.
Right.
So I'm hopeful that the money will still be available after some of the banks last week that reported back to us had several applications that they were not able to process, and they were very overwhelmed. So I am hopeful that they will open up, hopefully by tomorrow, but I think that's what the contributor is.
I agree.
If I could just ask Hillary, I'll put you on the spot again like I did last week. Hillary is our tourism specialist, and she has been on numerous calls with the state of Maryland and all the tourism partners we have across the state. And because Chesapeake Beach and North Beach are tourism towns, maybe just a little update on what the state is trying to do to get visitors to come back.
Sure. They have had a Maryland Tourism Task Force has been created at the state level. It's made up of the Maryland Office of Tourism Development, and then we have a group of counties. Every tourism development person in each county, somebody from that organization is on it, and several other tourism-based groups across Maryland. They have put together recommendations for the governor and Department of Commerce for when opening begins. And the recommendations are due to the governor this Friday. So I have no insider information on what they're going to recommend, but this is not final. So don't necessarily take this as what is going to happen. But they do want to maybe open up outdoor places, parks, recreation, marinas, golf. Any outdoor activities with built-in social distancing is what they're going to recommend. Obviously, road trips are going to be okay. And then everything, all the experts, all the tourism experts all over the world are saying everything's going to be hyper local. So just people who are in your immediate area might be ones who can come. I know that North Beach is having some trouble having people from out of the area come. But overall, it seems like local is going to be what comes back first. They're also working on a designation for businesses, venues, restaurants, hotels to use if they have it sort of like a checklist to get to a certain sanitation level so people feel safe. This might include, again, this is not in stone, hand sanitizing stations, 6 feet of social distancing, cleaning after each customer. And then if they comply with the checklist, they would receive a decal for their window and logo for their social media sites. And then Maryland Office of Tourism Development is working on an umbrella toolkit for marketing that they're going to share. They did do a sort of fun Mad Libs that included Chesapeake Beach Water Park. So if you look on Visit Maryland, that's something that kids can do at home right now. The sort of designation is also being echoed in Airbnbs. Airbnb is coming up with a checklist and certification for that. Restaurants are doing the same. So when we get that, we'll share it. Speaking of restaurants, we do have a call-in. I'm hosting a call-in on Wednesday with the Restaurant Association of Maryland and Cabin Addicts from Grow and Fortify for restaurants, wineries, and breweries in Calvert County. It's at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, and I can send Holly or somebody the link if to let restaurants know. I did let them know already, but just as a reminder, just to get some updates from organizations as well.
I can just add to that a little bit and tell you that today, it's a little premature, but today, Kathy, Kelly Slagle, and I will be on a call with Dr. Polsky, our local health department director, and working at the direction of the Board of County Commissioners. We're going to try to come up with some generic, general, easy to follow guidance on how businesses need to implement protection and safety for both their customers and their employees once the reopen status has changed. If you go to the CDC website, which is where everyone's being sent right now, it is 6 or 7 pages with another 50 links embedded in there. It's overwhelmed. It overwhelmed me. So we're going to try to create maybe a little one-pager, how to keep your employees safe, how to keep your customers safe for different industry sectors. And we hope to have that shortly. And I know the attractions are one of the ones that have been asking for it, restaurants, service providers. So as soon as we get something there, we'll be sure to share it with everyone. So with that, Holly, if you just want to open it up, I think, and Bill has said this, I think the most important and useful piece of this is just to let people ask questions.
Great. I'm going to make sure everyone's unmuted. If there are any questions, you could send them through chat or speak your questions.
I'll begin. This is Pat. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Hillary, thank you. You were talking about, opening up, the county, if you will, and the, local first and all that kind of stuff. And then you touched on, North Beach's issue. And I think it's probably safe to say that, North Beach, Chesapeake Beach, and probably Solomon's, I guess we understand, the need to open up, but we also attract many visitors from other counties that are highly contagious, and we also attract visitors from out of state. I mean, which is a good thing normally. And we're just wondering how is because we're affected. Not maybe not the rest of the county, but these two beach towns are affected. Is that being discussed at all? That I mean, it's impossible for us to open up locally. I don't know how we keep them out, if you will.
Yeah, no, I am with you on that. And I know that North Beach has even had to do some Facebook advertising saying, stay away, please. So they're not going to force you to do anything. Obviously, you're in charge of your area. And what comes out, I think, about how they're planning to do it, if it works for what we have. And you're right, like people will come, they're going to come as soon as they're able.
Yeah, they're already coming. I mean, they're coming down, and I have friends that live in other counties who just tell me, they say, my neighbor's wacky. He gets in his car and he drives to North Beach and parks his truck and just looks at the water. And, and there's a whole bunch of that. And another thing that concerns me is that when the casinos open up in Maryland, that, I don't want to see the state, opening up the gaming that we have in town unless it is concurrent with the gaming, in the other places. I mean, we already get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of visitors from other counties and states who spend their money, gaming in our town, and it creates a revenue stream that we enjoy. However, we don't want to be first. That's for certain. In fact, it really needs to be concurrent. So I think that's an important, message. If anybody has, the state's ear, to let them know, our concerns in these towns. And yes, getting back to normal is everybody's goal.
I haven't heard anything in particular about casinos. That hasn't been in any conversations that I have been in, but so I don't know. But I'm with you on slow is the way to go.
Yeah, we have to be real cautious here because we attract people from all over the place. And the first guy that opens up, he's going to get the brunt of it. So anyhow, I just wanted to mention that. And I thought somebody had to start the Q&A, so I did.
Right, I saw that Larry had asked Bill. I don't know, Bill, can you see the chat questions? Larry asked Bill if he can share some insight on the Save the Small Business Fund. And I guess there really is no insight because it's no longer taking applications. Within the first, I think it was 48 hours, the fund closed due to the overwhelming application response. So they're no longer taking applications. I just wanted to answer your question.
Well, yeah, that was through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and it was for selected geographies. So you had to be in an approved area to be eligible anyway. And quite a few of our densely populated areas and high income areas weren't necessarily eligible anyway. But yeah, that was another one that didn't last very long.
Marilyn, I've been thinking about you. I know this is your your ramp up time. Can you tell us what thoughts or ideas or concerns you've got going into the season?
Well, fortunately, we were way ahead of the game as far as having everyone ready. So I've been talking to other water parks all over the country, and they're behind. Of course, I haven't really talked to Pat and Holly about what they're thinking, but I have been also working with organizations like Ellison Associates to find out about what all of the other water parks are doing, and everybody right now is of course watching the numbers, watching how the numbers are going, and all organizations are putting together lists. I'm really anxious and excited to hear what the list looks like. I know that it's all going to be about numbers. I'm going to try to look at our numbers and see how we can operate with a much lower capacity possibly. But yeah, my head is spinning every day. And we're busy, of course, getting ready in case we need to be ready.
And I think as from a town's perspective, we've moved a lot of the water park operations to remotely. So we've done a lot of virtual interviews, and Marilyn is still continuing on looking at screening staff so that we can be prepared. But I'm sure the mayor will speak to this, but I think we're going to be as cautious as possible.
Yeah, that's correct. And quite frankly, I have it on my list to meet with the town administrator later today to start thinking about, to start penciling in some dates, some possible startup dates, and to be ready for. I spent the weekend communicating with a lot of people who I know on different, shore resorts, from Jersey to Carolina to Maui, actually. We're all, discussing the same thing. And I personally, in terms of my, my beach and my water park, I'm cautious. I just assume let the other guys go first. But I think what I want to do, and I'm hearing people talk about, everybody is guessing, will July 1 be the day when they start summer and open up Ocean City? Nobody knows. But I think we need to start, what I want to do very soon is to just, pencil down a couple dates that might seem practical, and we can be prepared for those dates. Right now, I don't really believe we're going to be opening up Memorial Day weekend. So having said that, then I know this is a long answer, but I just want to tell you, I plan to be cautious, and I also plan to start working on some quasi dates. So we are prepared when it's time to open up. Hope that helps.
I'm curious, of the businesses that are in here, have you had challenges with applying for the EIDL or PPP or anything? I would like to hear if you guys have anything that you would like to offer.
I guess I'll speak up on behalf of the Maryland Charter Boat Association. There are over 600 charter operators in the Maryland portion of the Bay. Virtually all of them are sole proprietorship individual owners who could not qualify for the state programs because of the need for W-2 employees as one of the requirements. So they were left with the EIDL program from Small Business Administration. And of course, right now they're out of funds, and they presumably have more funds coming. And we're all watching the SBA website closely, hourly, to see when that's going to open back up again. So that's really the only COVID relief program available to the sole proprietors that we know of.
And they can apply for PPP, and they can apply for unemployment as well. That just opened on Friday.
But it's not that they're unemployed. Their season actually starts May 1st, Friday, and they have the green light, and a number of charter boat operators are going to go. A number of them are not going to go just because they have concerns that on a boat that may be 40 to 50 foot long with a maximum of 8 paying passengers and 2 crew, it's going to be very much of a challenge to handle that. And some of the guys are just not going to touch it. So, but it's not like they're unemployed, and the PPE program, they don't have employees. So that's of no use to them either.
Can I jump in for a second? This is Bill Hitty. You don't really have, under the PPP program, you don't really have to have employees. It's sole proprietors and independent contractors are eligible under that program. Also the same as the unemployment. If they, and help me, you have to educate me for just a second.
Sure.
So are charter boats listed as ability to operate or quote unquote essential, or are they, is it a judgment call based upon the owner and the type of boat they have?
The state of Maryland allows the charter boats to sail.
To operate.
Yes.
Okay.
Unlike
Okay.
Virginia shut them down.
Okay, so I think that would probably be a complication if they're applying for the unemployment side.
Right.
Sorry, but from the PPP, my understanding is that the PPP monies are going to be gone within 36 hours. That actually opened on the at 10:30, an hour ago. The EIDL, they certainly would be eligible to apply.
Right.
Even if they choose not to operate, or even if they are operating and it impacts their services.
Mm-hmm.
So that is certainly an option, even if they do not have employees, because the EIDL is really for operating expenses, insurance, any kind of repairs to the boats, all those kind of daily, regular operating stuff. That's really what the EIDL is for. Slip rental, if you're paying for your slip rent, all those that are separate from the payroll side. They can be used a little bit for payroll, but that's not the focus. So,
Understood.
okay. Just wanted to make sure. Again, that's why I prefaced it at the beginning as far as there's a lot of confusion between what program is used for what. And I wanted to make sure you brought up a really good example and you educated me about the charter boats. So I haven't really talked to any of my clients who do charters at this point. So it was sort of interesting to hear how that works. Thank you.
And as long as the limit of 10 people in a gathering is in place, that's an additional significant impact on some of the larger boats that are certified by the Coast Guard to carry up to 49 people in some cases.
Right. For just a clarification for your folks, just to be sure, and you can have them call myself or Lisa, whatever the case may be. Economic Development knows this too. Even if they quote unquote don't have employees, but they apply for the EIDL, the SBA is viewing the owners as employees.
Okay.
So therefore, if you answer the question 0, that you don't have any employees, but if you actually have 1 or 2 people that are doing work on the boat, if they're the owners, you answer that question too.
Roger that.
That because there's an advanced portion off of the EIDL, which is a grant that they might be eligible for, but it's capped at 1,000 per employee. That's a different category than what the PPP does. The PPP, you have to have W-2 like you referenced.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
Yep. Hopefully that helped. And that goes for anybody on the call. So you understand if you're a sole proprietor, just because you're a sole proprietor and don't have anybody working for you, that doesn't exclude you from applying for the EIDL. I think there's going to be more EIDL money out there than there will be PPP money. I think the PPP money is going to be gone really quick. I think the EIDL money is still going to be out there. And we got a quiet group on there today. It must be, we're all calm in Chesapeake Beach.
Well, this is Wes from the Rod and Reel and Papa John's. I have a couple of questions. They're kind of all over the place, so I apologize. Do you guys know that I'm having a hard time finding out, are the restaurants allowed to, I know that we can sell wine and beer to go if it's in a bottle or a can. are we allowed to do mixed drinks if they're covered up?
Yes,
We are? Okay.
as long as they're in a container that has a cover on it,
Yep.
you are allowed to do it.
Okay.
And actually, I will tell you, it's kind of crazy because the tiki bar is going into neighborhoods and selling. So businesses are being very unique on the things that they're doing.
Okay.
They're
Have
selling
you,
gallon drinks and going over the bridge into St. Mary's and selling them within neighborhoods like Wildwood.
well, you got to give them credit for hustling.
Hey, I'm just telling you, businesses
That's
are doing it. And
creativity.
they're very much thinking out of the box.
Now that I think this time we have to. Have you guys heard if the Marine Museum is doing concerts this summer?
That's still up in the air. They are closed currently and have canceled everything through June. So I think
Okay.
they're taking it real slow too.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much moved all of our concerts that we had scheduled in June to August, because I think in August we'll be in phase 3 of what Hogan put out. At least it's kind of what I'm hoping. And we haven't gone on sale yet with any concert tickets yet, but I think we're looking to this week. Just for August though. And then I was going to ask when charter fishing can start, but it looks like as long as they're under 10 people on a boat, they can start May 1st. Do you guys know if the crabbers have started crabbing yet? I've been trying to follow Facebook, and it's tough to do that with that.
The grabbers are out west. They're catching crabs now. And the charter boat season does start off May 1st, although some charter boats are running catfish trips now.
Okay.
Because that season's open.
Right. And then for the town, have you guys been looking at the water and sewer rates and looking at the usage? I mean, I'm kind of wondering what the long-term effect is on a majority of the large users not being on that system.
We have been monitoring the variable use at the plant. And while we do have a lot of our large users, businesses offline, we have large families home all the time. So it seems at this point that we'll actually have higher usage than prior to COVID, if that was what you're asking.
Yeah, it was. And then my last thing is, we haven't heard what the state is going to do as far as the casinos opening up. We're going to comply with whatever we have to do. I mean, the price of someone's safety and health isn't worth a few bucks, in our opinion. And we agree with Hillary. I think you said slow and lower. But at the Rod and Reel, we're going to do whatever we have. We have seen articles online about different places around the country, casinos in the South, that the state has allowed them to do. They can turn on one machine out of 3. Last I heard, the state lottery was looking into that, and that's something that they might be recommending. However, that I don't see that happening until phase 3 of what Governor Hogan says. So, whatever it is, we definitely want to do and comply with. And one of the things that, we tried to apply for, which we weren't allowed, is the PPP didn't allow for gaming to get that loan. So, you know, we haven't even applied for that, for the PPP. We're looking at the other SBA programs, but you know, and we were fortunate. We're in a position we were able to pay people for a certain amount of time, and you know, but a lot of our employees are now looking at unemployment. So you know, it's real tough out there, and you know, I just wanted to thank everyone on the call for trying to do what's right for everyone. I mean, we're all in this together, and you know, now is the time that we definitely need to work together to do whatever it is we can to help each other out. Because I mean, you know, once they get the vaccine, you know, it should be back to the love fest, you know, of the daily grind. So that's all I really had, was those questions and comments.
I'm curious, Wes, how is your takeout doing?
So the pizza, the Papa John's we have there, it's doing fairly okay. Takeout is way down. Deliveries, people are taking advantage of the no contact delivery. At the Rod and Reel, carryout's been terrible. We had a good Easter, but you know, the Rod and Reel is known as a special event restaurant. It's not an everyday place you go. At least that's how it's been for the last 30 years. And you know, we're looking forward to Mother's Day, but on a day-to-day basis, I mean, the hotel, you know, has been bare bones. I mean, literally, you know, 2, 3, 4 rooms a night, if that. And a lot of the carryout has been from those people there. So, you know, and we reduced the menu like a lot of other places just to be safe. So, you know, we're trying to do what we can, but so yeah.
What are you doing for your wedding business?
So a lot of the weddings we had in May and June, we got pushed to August and September. We've only had to give back money on one of them. All the other ones have moved, and I can't even count how many hundreds of it's been hundreds of hotel reservations that got canceled, you know, not even rebooked. So it's been rough for sure. I mean, we're in the same boat as everyone else.
Is there anything else?
I was wondering if you could provide any more further information on just general funding, just in terms of what is open, what is accessible, just maybe a summary on each funding source.
Maybe Bill, you want to take that?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, realistically, the PPP is going to be gone pretty quickly. EIDL is a reasonable option from the federal standpoint. That is a loan directly from the SBA, money directly from the SBA. Right now, they're on a 21 business day turnaround. So basically, that's a month before you'll even see money. It's a 2-part program. You get up to $1,000 per employee on an advance, up to $10,000 max. That's a grant. The second part is actually the traditional economic injury loan program. that's the part where they go back through and they look at what the overall impact was of the business. The EIDL application is very brief, 1.5 pages. You don't provide any financial information to the SBA. So they're just basically winging it for what they think the long-term impact is on your business. And what they're going to do is provide the advance money right away as soon as they can. And then they will go back and look at the amount of money that you might be eligible for as a business for the overall economic impact. The reason I'm spending a little bit of time on this because it's important for people to know that applied for it, that there is a part 2 to that that is actually a loan. They may send you an email and tell you you're approved for $30,000 loan. And you say, well, I really need $130,000. They'll basically tell you, well, send us all this financial information and then we'll analyze it and then get back to you. So you have a choice after waiting to wait some more for them to reevaluate your application. Or you say, okay, they're putting 30 grand on the table. That's okay, I'll just take it so I can get it within a couple of days. So that's part of it. There are a bunch of little grants that are out there. It's really difficult for us to keep track of them all, but a lot of the little ones are being eaten up pretty quickly also. I did have a couple of clients that applied for a few of them. They said the process was fairly easy. So from that standpoint, however, they're very small and highly competitive. So it's not like that they've got $1 billion to give away. Most of them are, maybe 5,000 if you're lucky, but they're only doing 40 of them or 50 of them or 100 of them. And some of them are national. A couple of the other programs are regional. There is a grant program out there for, I believe it's $500. We shared this and I'm not sure, I've only had 1 or 2 people tell me about it, for professional hairstylists, barbers, those kind of folks. That was something that came out relatively early and it came through one of the business associations of professional hairstylists or whatever. I forwarded that out to several of my hair salon clients. And I actually, be honest with you, have not gotten any feedback as to whether that got disseminated to their independent contractor or to their individuals who are doing the stylists or operators. But there are a whole bunch of those little things out there. So for a lot of folks, maybe if you just go in and do some searches on what industry you're in, there might be some small ones. That was only $500, but it was just to help people that were in that situation.
I will tell you, there's kind of a cool tool that was put together by our friends in Howard County. It is available to anyone in the state, and they are keeping it up to date. And they are hoping to enhance it in the coming weeks. It's called reliefwizard.net, N-E-T. You can go to reliefwizard.net and it's kind of a form system where you click and do you have this? Do you have that? Are you available for this? Are you a member of that? And it kind of takes you through a series of questions and gets you down to some programs that might be available to you. They do have some, like Bill said, they have some of the little offshoots that you may not have heard of, but they also have the EIDL and the PPP and other ones as well. So you can play around with that. And supposedly, if you're from Calvert County and you go through the system, the people in Howard County are collecting all this data and then sending referrals to individual counties. So if you're not a Howard County business, that's okay. We should be getting any referrals of Calvert County businesses that go through the Relief Wizard and need additional follow-up.
Great. Are there any other questions? And then I would just put out there, if there's anything that the town can do to assist our local businesses, please reach out to us. Feel free to let us know now or follow up. You can send a message to myself or the mayor, and we'd be happy to see what we can do to assist further. Did we want to move to closing remarks from the mayor?
There we go. Just want to thank everybody for taking the time to call in and interesting questions, got some answers. Thank you, and just keep hanging in there. Larry, you have anything that you want to add?
Just the same thing, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hang in there. Thank you.
Thank you guys for putting it on.
Guess that-
Great. Thank you so much for all of your time. I'm sorry, Derek, were you going to speak?
No, I was just waving goodbye, and
Okay.
it's great, just as an observer, it's great to have the partnership between the town and the county, and certainly, on behalf of all of us with the administration, we appreciate you guys taking the time to come on and share this information, both on live and the recording, obviously. But we're very happy that we have such a good partnership with the county, and look to continue that.
I can add one thing real quick. Just if you applied for the EIDL between March 30th and about April 4th, the money is coming out for those. I've got clients who have applied as late as April 4th that started getting money over the weekend. So it's, even though they're at that 21 business day, there are some things that are happening out there. So just check your time if you did the EIDL application. The PPP is entirely separate because that's between you and the bank or the lender. But the EIDL, it will show up in your bank account from the U.S. Treasury. But at this point in time, none of my clients are getting any communications from the SBA as to what it is. So they're just calling me and saying, hey, I had $3,000 dropped in my bank account from the Treasury. And I said, well, how many employees did you put down? And they said 3. Okay, that's your advance. So just wanted to share that. So if anybody did do the IDL, just whatever time frame is, keep an eye out. And thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.